The final dinner was Elena's idea. An elegant, seated affair in the Harrington Estate's private dining hall. Just 30 guests, close family, inner circle friends, and those with enough political or financial capital to warrant FaceTime. It was pitched as a thank you for their presence, a toast to new beginnings. But it was a trap. Elena stood in front of the mirror in her dressing suite, smoothing the midnight blue velvet gown she'd chosen specifically for this night. No veil, no soft pastels. Tonight, she wasn't the blushing bride. She was a woman preparing for war. Savannah waited downstairs, hidden in one of the staff lounges with Graham. Elena had brought her into the estate under the guise of needing extra help with dinner coordination. They would play their parts when the moment came. But for now, everything had to appear normal. Elena descended the grand staircase just as Daniel entered the room. His tuxedo was tailored, smile charming. Everything about him was practiced to the point of perfection. He took her hand. "You look like a goddess," she smiled. "You always say the right thing, only when it's true." The guests took their seats. The wine flowed, and laughter filled the hall. Toasts were made, stories told. Elena played her role to perfection until dessert. As plates of bruleed figs and espresso mousse were passed, Elena stood. She tapped her glass. "Before we close this evening, I'd like to say a few words." A hush fell. "I want to thank everyone here for being a part of this incredible weekend, Dot, for witnessing the vows, the joy, the unity." A few chuckled. Daniel reached for her hand. "But more than anything," she continued, pulling her hand away, "I want to thank my husband for being a man of such intricate layers." A ripple of confusion swept the room. She turned to Daniel. "It's amazing, really, how well you've played this role. The devoted partner, the business-savvy groom, the charming heir." Daniel stiffened. "Elena, what are you doing?" She lifted a remote, giving everyone what they came for. The lights dimmed. A screen behind her descended, and a video began to play. Daniel in the greenhouse months ago. "She thinks it's real, but once we're married, her firm will merge. I'll have access to every donor file." Gasps erupted. Whispers. A chair scraped backward. Daniel stood. "This is out of context." Elena raised her voice. "There's no context that saves you. The texts, the transfers." "Savannah." On cue, Savannah entered the room. Someone at the table whispered her name. Daniel paled. "You thought you could burn us both and walk away," Savannah said. "But you lit the wrong fuse." Graham appeared next, holding a stack of documents. "We traced the accounts, the donor laundering, the falsified client mergers. You were using Elena to build a shadow campaign fund." Daniel lunged forward, but 2 security guards intercepted him. Elena had hired them earlier in the day. Not the estate staff, private. "You don't want to make this worse," she said calmly. Daniel looked at her wild-eyed. "You set me up." She stepped closer. "No, you set the stage. I just took control of the final act." Police arrived within the hour. The guests dispersed in stunned silence. Cameras flashed as Daniel was led out in cuffs. But the story didn't end there. In the days that followed, news of the scandal broke wide. Not just the fraud, but the betrayal, the affairs, the manipulation. Every dirty secret Daniel had buried now danced in headlines. Elena refused interviews. She withdrew her firm from all campaign affiliations and quietly began building something new. Savannah stayed with her for a time. They didn't become friends exactly, but there was mutual respect forged in fire. Graham, ever the cynic, became Elena's most unexpected ally. He helped her rebuild, filter out the snakes, and navigate the media frenzy. 1 month later, Elena stood alone in the vineyard's south garden, the only place on the estate untouched by deception. She wore no gown, no makeup, just jeans and a cable-knit sweater. She watched the wind twist through the vines and breathed in the clean, unscripted air. No ceremony, no vows, just truth. Something new. The cabin of Flight 227 was a pressure cooker sealed in aluminum. The threat had been neutralized, for now, but the questions had only begun to unravel. Jude Price, the supposed air marshal, had secured the man in the leather jacket, who now sat cuffed in the crew jump seat near the galley, eyes darting, sweat soaking through his collar. Ava couldn't shake the image of that device in his hand. It wasn't a bomb, but it was something electronic, something invasive. The cabin crew had confiscated it, but until the pilot could confirm, they were flying blind. Captain Hayes' voice came over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, due to a technical concern and under direction of the FAA, we are diverting to JFK International. Estimated arrival in 1 hour. Please remain calm and in your seats. But calm was a luxury no one aboard could afford. Ava returned to first class, where Camilla Hart was reviewing the footage she'd just captured on her phone. Rothschild still lay semi-conscious, a cold towel across his forehead. Whatever had been slipped into his drink was fast-acting and precise. Not fatal, intentional. Camilla looked up. I know this guy. He's used proxies before, overseas deals. Blackmail. It's always quiet, always invisible until it's too late. Ava kept her voice low. Why are you on this flight, Camilla? Really? Camilla smiled, slow and cold. I got a tip 2 days ago. Rothschild's been moving data through airline Wi-Fi back channels. In-flight servers, less traceable. I wanted to catch him in the act. Jude appeared beside them. The guy in row 7 is ex-NSA. Real name's Alan Pike. He was terminated 2 years ago for data tampering. We think he's freelancing. Ava blinked. Freelancing for who? Could be Rothschild. Could be his enemies, doesn't matter. He's not talking. Noah stirred. Don't let them find the tablet. Camilla and Jude froze. What tablet? Ava asked. Rothschild's voice cracked. 3B, under the seat. Camilla darted down the aisle. In economy, the air was tense. Passengers sensed something was wrong. Too many whispers, too many glances from crew who weren't smiling anymore. In seat 3B, a young woman with earbuds in was half asleep. Camilla reached under the seat. A flat black tablet was duct taped to the frame. She peeled it free and returned to the galley. Encrypted, she muttered, powering it up. Jude frowned. Let me. He took the tablet and hooked it to his personal decrypt tool, a tiny device he carried in his jacket pocket. It buzzed softly. Lines of code spilled across the screen. Camilla leaned in. What are we looking at? Access logs, hundreds of them, routing protocols through in-flight servers, pulling metadata on high-profile passengers, intercepting email drafts, even live keystrokes. Ava paled. This is spyware. More than that, Jude said. It's a prototype. Not on the market yet. Rothschild was testing it. Pike was either helping or trying to steal it. Camilla whistled. This is your scandal. Not anymore, Jude replied. This is national security. The plane hit turbulence. Ava grabbed the wall. What now? Captain Hayes' voice came on again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning our descent into JFK. Flight crew. Take your stations. But Ava knew something was wrong. The descent was too fast. The turbulence hadn't passed. She hurried to the cockpit door and knocked. Hayes opened the hatch. His face was white. We've lost avionics stabilization. I think there's still a device transmitting from inside the cabin. What about the one Pike had? Not the only one. Someone else has a transmitter. Ava backed away. We're being jammed. In the galley, Jude's decrypt tool went dark. The tablet powered off. Camilla looked up. Signal interference, Jude shouted. Everyone, check your carry-ons. The cabin exploded in panic. Passengers opened overhead bins. Bags tumbled. Security protocol unraveled in seconds. Row 12, a backpack zipped open. Inside, a second device blinking red. Jude grabbed it, tore out the battery. The cabin lights flickered, then steadied. The plane leveled. Ava sighed. But it wasn't over. Camilla's phone buzzed. No number, just one message. Nice try, C. She stared. Who's C? Jude asked. C is the whistleblower, or the buyer, or both. They knew I was coming. Jude turned to Ava. We've been set up. The plane touched down hard on the JFK runway, tires screeching. Emergency vehicles surrounded it instantly. FBI agents stormed the cabin. Passengers were held in their seats. Alan Pike was taken first. Then Rothschild, barely conscious, loaded onto a stretcher. Camilla, Ava, and Jude were escorted out last. Outside, the tarmac smelled like hot rubber and tension. An agent whispered to Jude, then handed him a folder. Jude opened it and swore. Camilla leaned over. What is it? He showed her the image inside. Ava's face. She was the target all along. Camilla turned slowly. Ava was gone. The wind cut sharp across the JFK tarmac as the dusk bled orange and purple across the skyline. A dozen law enforcement vehicles flanked the grounded Flight 227, their flashing lights flickering like frantic Morse code. Yet despite the noise, confusion, and urgency, Ava Kingsley had vanished. Camilla Hart stood next to Jude Price, the now official Homeland Security operative, as they watched the runway. Her breath clouded in the chill air. "She's not the type to vanish unless she's been planning it," Jude muttered, scanning the terminal perimeter. Camilla held up her phone. "Or unless she had help." That message, "Nice try, Key," came seconds before we landed. "Whoever C is, they were coordinating this extraction." Jude flipped open the dossier again. "Look at this." The photo of Ava wasn't from the plane. It was dated 3 months earlier. She was seated at a cafe in Prague. Across the table sat none other than Noah Rothschild. "Whatever this was," Jude said, "Ava's not just a victim. She was working with Rothschild before any of this started." Camilla's brow furrowed. "Or working against him. This entire flight may have been a decoy. They didn't know how right they were." 2 hours earlier, in the moments after the second device had been neutralized, Ava had slipped out. Not through the jet bridge, but through the service hatch beneath the galley. It had been unlocked by a ground crew member wearing a stolen ID. She'd climbed into a waiting catering truck that rolled silently across the tarmac. In the back seat sat a man in a gray coat and sunglasses. "See, you were almost too late," Ava said. He didn't flinch. "But I wasn't." Pike talked. "They know the tablet was real. Then you did your job." Ava pulled a flash drive from inside her coat. "All the logs, Rothschild's encryption key, plus surveillance on Price and Hart." C raised an eyebrow. "You tapped Hart?" "She was tapping me first," he smirked. "You're wasted in counter intel. Ever thought about politics?" Ava smiled tightly. "No, but I know how to get people elected or taken down." Back at the terminal, Jude and Camilla were debriefed in a Stark operations tent. The FBI's tone shifted from collaboration to caution. "We have reason to believe the entire event on Flight 227 was staged," said Agent Nguyen. Pike was planted. Rothschild's condition, likely induced to ensure emergency landing. All of it designed to smuggle out a high-value asset, Ava Kingsley. Camilla leaned forward. "That tablet had blackmail material on half of Capitol Hill. Why take it now?" Nguyen frowned. "Because midterms are in 6 weeks," Jude cursed under his breath. Camilla stood. "I need access to Rothschild. He's in a secure ward under federal guard. Then move." The hospital reeked of antiseptic and secrets. Camilla pushed through 2 agents and into the room. Rothschild was awake, barely. She pulled a chair up close. "You handed that tablet to Ava. You knew this was coming." His lips curled. "The lesser evil," explained. "She used to be NSA. Recruited by C years ago. Went dark. We only realized her role when the leaks started." "And you let her walk away with everything?" Rothschild's eyes flickered. "There's a bigger game. If that data dropped raw, nations fall. But if it's used strategically, we get reform." Camilla stood slowly. "Or we get a dictatorship." 2 days later, news outlets buzzed with stories about the plane plot. Carefully edited leaks suggested it was a thwarted cyber attack. Rothschild's name was conspicuously absent. So was Ava's. But in a quiet Washington townhouse, a new political candidate announced their campaign with sudden media support. Their platform? Anti-corruption, pro-transparency, data integrity. Behind the scenes, C smiled. Ava handed him another drive. "Target next?" she asked. He nodded toward the Capitol dome. "Time to reset the board." She vanished into the shadows. Back in Manhattan, Camilla sat across from Jude at a coffee shop. "She's gone," he said. "Not forever," Camilla replied. "Will we see her again?" "Only if we get close to the truth." Jude stared into his cup. "Then let's keep digging."